One.
Hi, Jason. It's good to see you again. And thanks for making time to share with the world your insights. We did a video on boosting our immune system. And if people haven't caught that, there's a lot of great information. We had to do it in two parts. So hopefully today we will be doing just one video comprehensively.
Yeah, hopefully your
So,
computer cooperates this time.
yeah, it was all my fault.
It was. I don't mind
And
blaming you.
And I don't mind being blamed. I'm getting a lot of that on Facebook these days, so I love it.
Exactly, me too.
Thank you for the money, everybody.
All right, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay, yeah. Keep giving Missy
Well,
money.
what I am talking about is if you're willing to receive everything, including people's blame and making you wrong, then you're willing to receive everything.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Consciousness is about being willing to receive everything and judge nothing.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So I would love it if you'd introduce yourself to people just really briefly, and tell them, because I'm really impressed with the fact that you actually healed yourself. And I want our conversation to focus on healing the body and the
Okay, your audio went off.
ah
There you go.
okay. I would love it if people could that are tuning in. Am I still being heard?
You're being heard.
Okay, good.
Somebody at least.
My cat can hear me.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Um, no, I'd really love it if people could get a sense of that their bodies are incredible healing machines.
Yeah,
Like we have everything we need within us to heal ourselves and
yes.
empower people with that knowledge. And you have a great experience in knowing of that because you experienced it yourself. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna let you talk.
Definitely, and that's a good point, that our body has the ability to heal, but we also need to give the body the tools it needs to heal. And the biggest tool you can give the body to heal is to keep the toxins out of it. The body cannot do its job when there's toxins in the body. And what do I mean by toxins? I mean three things, and I just did a video on all three of them. One is environmental toxins. So anything from the environment. So I did a video on that and how to, basically get rid of the toxins in your body and keep them away. The second is electromagnetic frequencies. So EMFs, everything that you get from not just your devices, but, the outside world, all the cell towers, all that kind of stuff. So I did a video on that, how to protect yourself from that. Unfortunately, you can't get rid of those in the body, but you can protect yourself so the body can get rid of it itself and then keep it at a low level inside the body so that it doesn't affect it anymore. And then the third ways we become toxic is the foods that we eat. So, genetically modified organisms build up in the body and eventually create an autoimmune disorder because the body doesn't think that it's a natural substance because it's genetically modified. So they'll create antibodies and think that it's fighting a disease. And that creates autoimmune disorder. And there's a lot of different autoimmune conditions, but and depending on which organs are affected most in your body depends on what type of autoimmune disorder you'll develop first. So keeping the body away from toxins, ridding your body of the toxins it has. So I did 3 videos on that. I did one for each thing. One talks about the EMFs, one talks about the foods, and one talks about environmental toxins. So once the body is free of those toxins or toxins at a very low level, that's when the body will heal itself. People will say, oh, well, the body's supposed to heal itself. Why aren't I healing? It's because you're toxic. It's very, very simple. It's very cut and dry. It's because you are toxic that your body is.
Like Britney Spears.
Yes, Britney Spears and the airplane and all that stuff. So there's a lot of toxic chemicals on airplanes anyway, but it's a whole nother story. So yeah, that's the key to allowing the body to heal itself is to get rid of toxins. And I have the videos on how to do that.
All right, that is amazing. And I know you've been putting out more videos lately, and that's awesome. I've been seeing that, and I've been watching all really good information. Can you go back to what you were saying about the electromagnetic frequencies
Yes.
and how what is that,
Yeah.
and
You're
where do
talking.
we use that?
Yeah.
What is causing it, and how do we get rid of the toxins that it's creating?
Sure. So you cut out just for a second, but heard most of what you said. So yeah, EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies, basically we are exposed to them everywhere now, of course. So even if we never turn on a cell phone, never turn on a computer, never turn on an iPad, just being on this earth right now, you're exposed to a bunch of EMF radiation. And a lot of that is of course coming from the cell towers. So we know, most of us know, they're developing 5G everywhere now. 5G has already been developed in many places, and it's being developed more and more places. So, which 5G, even though it's going to speed up your internet and all that kind of stuff, it's even worse for the human body because the frequencies are even stronger, even higher. So they can penetrate the cells even more than 4G. So what do we do? Well, I have a YouTube video on that. You can just go to my YouTube channel, just look me up by name, Jason Teichner, Teichner, and just look at the video that I did on EMFs, and the link that I have to Amazon and the product that that I think is the most reasonable in price, but still works. And
Cool.
so what it is it's two parts. Number one, it's got 6 different chips that you put on your different devices. So if you have 6 or less devices, you only need 1 pack, and that's like $16-17. So it's very, very reasonable. They've done the studies and have the science behind how it works, why it works, and have done all the testing with the EMF meter to show that the EMFs are very low. So these devices definitely work. For another, I think $10 or $11, you can get the other product, which is what my link is to, or additional product, I should say. It's the same company. It's got the 6 chips, and it also has the pendant that you wear that has also been scientifically studied to protect your entire body from EMFs. So now,
Wow.
yeah. So
Are you wearing that right now?
I just ordered it. I just
Oh,
ordered
that's so
it.
exciting.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it to come to me in the mail. But now the chips that you put on the devices have shown 99% reduction in EMFs. The pendant doesn't show the 99% reduction, but it does show that it helps. And so what I'll say about the pendant is it does offer you quite a bit of protection, a whole body wise. But if you really want and I say this in the video, if you really want closer to that 99% protection, for your whole body, there are devices you can get, which Amazon also has. Those are going to be more expensive, so if you can afford it, just to protect the whole body even more than the pendant will, it is worth it to spend it if you can afford it. You're talking somewhere between $200 and $500, but you're really going to get that protection that you need. But for now, if you can just afford the pendant, with the chips and all that for that one, company, it's going to cost you about $27, so still very reasonable. And that's the link I have on my YouTube video.
All
And
right. Can you put the link again under this video when you post this video for
yeah,
people too?
I can put the link. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So yeah, you want some protection. Is it worth the extra $11? Yes, I think it is, to get the pendant, because you are going to get some whole body protection from that, and there is science behind that. So
Okay.
that's the main thing. Those are the main things that you can do to to help with keeping the EMFs from basically penetrating the cells in your body and causing all kinds of havoc.
Good.
what happens is it creates cellular aging, basically creates oxidation and cellular aging, and it changes the genetic structure of the cells, the DNA of the cells. So you're going to feel different in a bad way. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel lightheaded. You're going to get headaches, things like that. And a lot of people are already experiencing that. And I talk about this in the video, and they don't know why. And this is the reason, is the EMFs, along with, of course, the other reasons of the foods we eat and the environmental toxins.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. And I think all this information is really necessary right now. I asked you before we started the video if you wanted to talk about Dr. Fauci, because we've been hearing a lot from Dr. Fauci, especially if you're watching mainstream news. And of course, they're advertising every chance they get. Pharmaceutical companies advertise every chance they get on the mainstream news.
Yeah.
And Dr. Fauci I would consider him to be a mainstream news person, and he was advising the president on these policies of the coronavirus and staying at home and flattening the curve and all this social distancing. I mean, I think he's probably one of the people that are spearheading this movement for people to quarantine themselves. Is that right?
Yeah. He and Dr. Bricks, Dr. Bricks, who worked in depth with Hillary Clinton back in the day, and Fauci is leading up that task force, so to speak, and so basically they have another agenda. They have an agenda to isolate people, so
Yeah.
that they can see how many people respond, how many people comply, so that later on they can introduce, other viruses and things like that. So yeah, Fauci is somebody that, in my view, in my opinion, what I've researched about him, you just cannot trust him. You simply cannot trust him. Even mainstream media channels, even mainstream media sites, even mainstream media articles have connected him basically to the deep state. I mean, this is not conspiracy. This is mainstream media outlets. So he does not have our best interests in mind. And he and Dr. Bricks wanted to extend the stay-at-home order even longer than April 30th. They wanted to extend it to May 31st. President Trump would not do that because he wants to get the economy back going and people back to work. So what he did was he asked him, well, how much in the down curve are we going to have on April 30th? And they said, well, we're still going to have quite a down curve. Basically, the curve is going to be just about over on May 31st, but the down curve is going to be pretty well from that down from that peak on April 30th. So that's when Trump said, okay, well, let's just do it. Let's do April 30th. Let's kind of come to a kind of agreement in the middle. Now, I have said a million times that, I do not believe this virus is nearly as bad as what is being reported. And there's several reasons for that. Number one, the testing's not accurate because much of the testing is not COVID-19 specific. It's only viral load tests, which is PCR. And so it's showing viruses in the system when people, of course, they're only going to the hospital when they're sick anyway, right? So, and that's why we see empty hospitals, by the way. It's not that this virus doesn't exist. It's that where most people know where are you most likely to get sick? Hospital, right? If you go to the
Right.
hospital.
Yeah.
So they're not going to the hospital because of that reason. So, but only people that are feeling really sick for the most part now are going to the hospital. So, and they're getting tested for viruses, but they could have any virus. Now,
Yeah.
as time goes on, they're getting out more COVID-19 specific tests to the population, but the numbers that have been reported up until now, up until probably a week ago, have not been accurate because most of those tests have not been COVID-19 specific. So
Right.
that's the problem. So you're likely to presume that at least half of the people that were tested positive for COVID-19 do not have COVID-19. They've got some other kind of virus. Um,
Yeah.
and like I,
I've also heard that the people that are being reported as dying from COVID-19, a lot of those deaths reported as COVID-19 deaths are not COVID-19 deaths.
correct, and that goes along the same lines as the original test they took was a viral load test. Now you also have to remember how many percentage of these people, around 80% of these people, had some other kind of health condition already. So if they're getting a virus and they get another health condition, then of course they're a lot more likely to die. Now, why is this being reported now as compared to any old year with the flu? Just as many people are dying each year with the flu that have these underlying medical conditions, or that are elderly and have a compromised immune system. Why are you seeing more reports of that now? Well, because of this so-called pandemic, right? The COVID-19. So of course they're reporting it more, because every time the hospital reports something to the CDC, as far as deaths, they have to report it. I mean, the news is going to report it because they want to scare people, continue to scare people. So that's kind of the cycle of what's going on. Now, is COVID-19 real? Yes, it's real, but it's also, and again, mainstream media outlets, not not private channels, not conspiracies, will also admit that COVID-19 was man-made. They won't go into detail as far as how it was man-made, but they will say that. And all these mainstream articles connecting all of the doctors here in the U.S. that basically conversed with the Chinese Wuhan lab, and kind of back and forth it went, and that the reason we know it's created, as opposed to naturally occurring, well, there's a couple reasons. Number one is it was patented. You can't patent something that's natural. You just can't.
Yeah.
Go try to patent something that's natural. The patent attorneys will laugh at you. You have to
Mm.
create something for it to be patented, which is how we know that COVID-19, along with a bunch of other viruses, were created, because they're patented. Viruses have specific genetic codes, which are not naturally occurring, basically, in nature. Viruses are not in nature naturally occurring. So, because they have genetic codes, they're not alive, as we kind of talked a little bit in the last video. They can only become alive when they attach to a cell, right? A plant cell, an animal cell, us, that kind of thing. So
Right.
viruses just kind of floating around, they can't do any harm. They're not alive. So it's only when they attach to a cell, and we talk about different ways that you can catch a virus, meaning that somebody can pass it along to you, because with the virus, if they're sneezing, well, then why can you catch a virus? Well, because when a person's sneezing, the virus is attached to that person's cell, right? So it's already alive at that point, because it's attached to a cell. So if it can attach to that, if it's already attached to a cell, it can attach to other cells as well, in you, for example, in me. So, it's not like you're just sneezing out the virus with no attachment. No. If, for example, wind sneezed, I mean, the wind doesn't sneeze, but just as an example, in a vacuum, basically, if wind sneezed with a virus, you could not catch a virus that way, because it's not attached to a cell. So that hopefully clears up a little bit about that. The reason that, again, that they're saying that COVID-19 is, why they want to isolate people and all that stuff, as opposed to other viruses, is they're saying it's more contagious because it travels farther than other viruses, and it stays in the air longer, attached to cells, basically, stays in the air longer. So that's their reasoning. But again, I mean, it's still not as contagious as what they're saying. It's still not as bad as what they're saying. So I would not be concerned with it, unless you have a compromised immune system, and then we talked in the last video about steps you can take to protect your immune system. I've also done a couple videos on that too, on what to do to protect your immune system from COVID or any other virus, as well as what to take specifically, which is a specific type of skull cap, which I talked about in another YouTube video that I have. So I would just suggest everybody go to my channel, because everything we're talking about here, I've talked about in videos that I've done
Right.
on YouTube. So I talk about exactly what to do for COVID-19 specifically for an herb, as well
Awesome.
as to stay away from ibuprofen.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, stay away from ibuprofen. Ibuprofen increases that ACE2 enzyme, which is what, as well as naproxen does that too, not to a degree to ibuprofen, but it still does it. So avoid naproxen as well, which is a leave. And basically, do not take ibuprofen or naproxen if you suspect that you have COVID-19. Now, because it increases the ACE2, the enzyme. Now, what is COVID-19 attached to? The ACE2 enzyme in the body. So now this is not true with every virus, because again, every virus has a different genetic code. But for COVID-19, it attaches to the ACE2 enzyme. What is the ACE2 enzyme responsible for? It's responsible for mainly keeping the blood vessels dilated, so that people don't get heart problems and high blood pressure. And where is that? Primarily in the lungs, of course. So where do we have COVID-19? In the lungs more than anywhere else, right? So now the ACE2 enzyme is in every major organ as well, but but that's the link basically to the lungs that we talk about. So again, I would go to my YouTube channel, check out all the most recent videos I've done in the last couple of weeks, and I talk about all this stuff a little bit more in depth.
Awesome. Well, what would you say to people who are quarantining themselves? And I'm just asking this question because I've gotten this a lot with my interactions with people in the public, and some people are not concerned at all, and some people are really concerned, and people don't know where to get good information. They don't, some people are calling it a fake pandemic. Some people are calling it fake news. Some people are saying this is real, this is serious. There's a lot of conflicting information out there. What would you say to people as far as, do you need to quarantine yourself?
Right. Well, first of all, let me say that I have a lot of inside information that most people don't have. And I have multiple sources of this information. I know people in the federal government. I know, I've got information that most people don't have. So with everything you're talking about, I will say it's somewhere in between that. So COVID-19 is real. There's no doubt it's real. It's not fake. The virus itself is not fake. Most of the news about it is fake. That's what's fake, is most of the news about it that's being reported, because it's reported to scare people.
Right.
Now we know it's real because it was created. It's patented, right? So something can't exist. Something you patent has to exist, right? So they patented the COVID-19, which is again under the umbrella of coronavirus, which MERS and SARS, incidentally, MERS and SARS are also under that same umbrella of coronavirus. So coronavirus itself has been around for a long time. Should we quarantine? Well, know that most people have already been exposed to some type of coronavirus, right? Not necessarily COVID-19, but some type of coronavirus. And if you have, you're, of course, way less likely to develop COVID-19. As far as isolation, do I isolate? No, I don't isolate because I don't worry about this. But I'm not going to tell anybody else not to isolate, What I will say is that there doesn't need to be panic about this. It's kind of your attitude about it. If you want to isolate and you think that that's protecting you more, go ahead and isolate. It's not a problem. Do you need to, as a whole? I would say no, but I would say, again, if you have a compromised immune system, it's a good idea. And that's not just COVID-19. I mean, that's flu season.
Right. Yeah.
Elderly people with compromised immune systems, or anybody really with compromised immune systems, should also isolate during flu season.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with the fact that it's COVID-19. It has to do with people with compromised immune systems are more likely to catch anything.
Right.
So, that's more what it has to do with than anything else. If you're healthy, I don't know. I don't believe you have to isolate. But again, if you want to, go ahead. I'm not going to tell you not to. So I was going to say one other thing about this, and I can't remember what it
I
was.
think everyone should keep their fear to themselves. Keep your fear
Yeah,
in your house.
yeah. We don't want to spread fear. Exactly. We don't want to help the media by spreading more fear. We don't.
No, and I did want to address the issue of fear just really briefly. And I do want to say that from my experience, fear is a distractor implant, meaning that, fear will distract you from your health, from your power, from your greatness that every person on the planet has and possesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love to ask people, are you using fear to distract you from your living your life? And that's a really great question, because when we start asking ourselves questions, we activate our frontal lobe, because when we're in reaction or resistance to anything or alignment or agreement to anything, we're not actually in our awareness. And so there's like, are you in this reaction, or are you in your awareness and functioning as the infinite being that you truly be? And by infinite being, I mean there's a part of all of us that doesn't ever die. And whether you believe that or not, I don't want to debate that. I just know that's my awareness for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a lot of resistance and reaction, whether it's like, this is fake or this is real. I mean, either one of those points of views is still a reaction,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when it's kind of like when our immune system reacts, we start sneezing, we start coughing, we start getting sick. And this is very, it seems like the whole of the earth is kind of in that reaction mode right now. We're reacting to this. And so I would just invite everyone to really go inside and calm down. And the message I've been getting lately is to connect with the earth and really connect with your body and listen to your own body's knowing, because every person's body has its own system of intelligence. And to really turn off the news and turn off the TV, connect with the earth, connect with your body, and really ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Am I letting this fear distract me from living my life?
Definitely. It's absolutely great to know what you're afraid of, like you said. And get help with that. I mean, if you're not able, and I know that you have a lot of techniques that you teach people on how to alleviate fear from a kind of a spiritual perspective, an energetic perspective. And if anybody wants to do that, they should definitely talk to you. Um, you know, there's people that also need help beyond that, right? And so, um, you've got to seek help. Some people, of course, as you know, live in that cycle of fear and they just can't get out of it. Like no matter what you do, they've been living it so long that it's hard for
Yeah.
them to get out of it. Um, so you definitely want to reach out to people if you're in that cycle, because like you said, fear affects everything. It affects your immune system. It affects how you think. It keeps you from doing things that you really want to do in life because you're paralyzed by it, right? So um, it's not doing you or the world any good, basically, if you're living
Yeah.
in fear.
Yeah.
And so it's a catch-22, right? Because we feel like we need to worry in order to change something, but we really don't, because we end up changing stuff when we're not worried, when we're in a better mind frame, right? So, why do we do this to ourselves? Well, a lot of it is obsessive compulsive, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. We feel we need to do that in order to change, which is not true. It's an illusion, right? Because it's the opposite. And also, like I said before, people have been in this cycle, for people that have been in this cycle of fear for so long, how are you just going to get out of it, snap out of it? That's not possible. It's deep into your subconscious mind, which hence, hypnotherapy helps with as well, with the subconscious programming of
Right.
fear and helping to rid your body and your mind of that. So, and you and I are both hypnotherapists. And then I don't think most people know it, but they were watching this, but I didn't really formally introduce myself. And I know you even asked me to, and I kind of went on a tangent about this whole
That's
thing.
okay.
But yeah, I'm a certified holistic health practitioner, certified nutritionist, certified hypnotherapist, studied tons of nutritional science. So, I understand how the body works from a scientific perspective. And so that's why when someone says, oh, I have this going on, will this work? I can tell them right away if it'll work or not, because I understand the science of how it works. So, so that's kind of where I excel is helping people heal naturally from various ailments, because what I tell people all the time is that there's very, very few, and I even said it in the last video that we did, there's very, very few underlying causes of disease, very few. People would be shocked if they knew how few underlying causes of disease there are. So it's not always about what you're diagnosed with. It has to do with it, but it's more about what's causing what you're diagnosed with, what the cause is.
Right.
After causality. And we do that with foods, and we do that with supplements a lot of times. We do that with hydrogen therapies, infrared saunas. It depends what's going on, but that's just basically what it is.
Right. That's awesome. And there's other tools and techniques that I've learned through my work with access consciousness. That's like you can turn molecules. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of turning molecules. You can actually turn the molecules of your cells, and there's body processes that you can use on your own body, in other people's bodies. And so I would just encourage people to ask what else is possible that I haven't imagined.
And for those, yeah, and that's a good point, because for those of you that don't believe you can actually alter molecules in the body, watch the movie What the Bleep Do We Know, where
Mm-hmm.
they actually they literally change molecules in water, and they show
Mm-hmm.
you how it's done, just
Exactly.
with sound, just
Yeah.
with positive thinking.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. There is a science to it. It's not just something that's people. It's not a theory. There's a science behind it.
Yeah.
And where they actually prove that's possible, because they do it. And what's our body? I mean, depending on who you ask, between 70 and 80% water. So changing the molecules in the water in the body, of course, is going to change, because we're changing most of our molecules, is gonna change our our whole molecular structure.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's not voodoo.
No,
but it is magic.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thanks for the info, Jason. I really encourage people to go and take a look at Jason's YouTube channel. Check him out on Facebook. You're very accessible to people. Mm-hmm. If they want to get in touch with you and ask you questions about anything that you said or that I've said, I'm also very accessible too. As long as people are polite and kind, I'm totally accessible.
Which is maybe half the people on Facebook right now.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe less.
But and that's a good point too. I mean, speaking your truth, which you and I both do, and not really you and I used to care what other people think, basically, is a good way to put it, and it wasn't doing me any good. It was making me too reserved, and then I would just kind of lash out, like the passive aggressive thing, right? When we state the facts as we know it, despite what backlash we know we're going to get from a lot of people, and get to a point where that doesn't bother us, we're free. We're free. And and people are going to have opinions, and some opinions can be argued really, really well. And if you have all the information backing the opinion that you have, and other opinions, people, as you know, on Facebook, they just throw out without any backing. They've done no research, right? You know, I've been researching health since I was 15 years old, you know, and I've been certified for the last 17 years. So, you know, so I mean, I do the research. I do research every single day still.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always more to learn, right?
Right.
And so, you know, I mean, live your live your truth, but don't think that your truth is just spewing out a bunch of opinions with no backing, because that, you know, because then you're going to get into a battle with somebody that has a different opinion, right?
Yeah.
There's no
And
reason to
what
do
I'm getting is like what I'm feeling and thinking these days is how the cure for this is to come together
that. Hmm.
and not allow this divide and conquer agenda
Hmm.
to sweep the planet. It to me it's evident that there is an agenda for a divide and conquer strategy,
Absolutely.
which is a great way to control people.
Hmm.
It's a great way to manipulate people. It's a great way to, have your way.
Hmm.
And if people start to look at the truth, like we've been talking about, the truth that your body is a super engineered healing machine that can heal itself if it's treated properly and fed the right nutrition and eliminate the toxins like you were talking about, your body's powerful and your mind is powerful. Your mind can heal your body,
Yeah.
as we know.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting from all of this is how can we support each other? How can we connect with each other? And how, like a lot of people are feeling that fear. What can I do to contribute to people's, calm and ease and sense of peace
Hmm.
and empower them?
Hmm.
So that's kind of what I've been being called to do. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's your thing. I mean, that's, you know, if you want everything that you just said, if you're out there and you're watching this and you want help with any of that kind of stuff, definitely seek Missy out, because she's gonna help you with all that kind of stuff. That's her area of expertise more so than mine. My area of expertise is helping people heal from illness, and you know, mental and physical both, and with
it's
different
all connected. It's
supplements.
all connected.
But it
Yeah.
is all connected. It is all connected. Yeah. And I just want to say one other quick thing about anybody that's watching that says, "Well, what can I'm I have a lot of anxiety right now. So what can I do? What can I do right now for anxiety?" And you can help them with the kind of the stuff that you just talked about. And what I'll talk about a little bit is about just real quickly about how to eat and what supplements to take. So stay away from carbs, simple carbs, stay away from sugars and starches. That will keep your anxiety in this vicious cycle. Sugar, flour, starches keep your body in this vicious anxiety cycle, because it completely messes with the neurotransmitters and hormones in your body. So, more healthy protein. I'll tell you vegetable protein, but I know a lot of people eat meat. I don't eat meat, but definitely, you know, more vegetable protein. I do eat, you know, I do eat fish occasionally. I think that if you know the source and if it's mercury, PCB free, and all that kind of stuff, I don't see a problem with fish. Plus, it has the omega 3s in it. I also don't see a problem with eggs if they're organic, pasture raised, and grass fed. And you know, organic, pasture raised, and grass fed is what you want. So, you know, free range is not good enough. Um, you know, grain fed is not good enough, even if they're organic, in my opinion. So, there's very few companies that make those eggs, but those are the only type of eggs I'll eat when I do eat eggs. And
Where do you get your eggs?
I get them from Sprouts Market. So you can get them from Whole Foods or Sprouts. It's called the brand is called Vital Farms.
Okay.
Vital Farms. They make two different types. They make They're both pasture raised and grass fed, but one's organic and one's not. So I get the one, of course, that's organic. Yeah, it's expensive. It's like $6.99 for 12 eggs. But, but so even the stuff that I do eat that are animal products, and I do not eat meat, like I don't eat any animals that walk or have ever walked. That's my thing as far as what I believe is the healthiest way to go. But my point is you need protein and you need good fats to keep those hormone levels even and the neurotransmitters even. You need protein, you need good fats. How much protein do you need? About a third of your body weight in grams if you don't heavily work out. If you heavily work out, half your body weight in grams. A lot of people are like, oh, if you work out, you need 200 grams of protein. No, that's going to kill your kidneys.
Is that your workout? Is that your workout voice?
Yeah, it's going to kill your kidneys. So all you need is half your body weight in grams in protein if you're working out a lot, and that's aerobic or anaerobic. And if you do high quality protein that you can absorb well, which is a whole other topic, but then you can even bodybuild using protein that's not as high as a lot of bodybuilders use. And if you don't work out, which we all should be, but if you don't, a third of your body weight in grams a day is all you need. It's all you need. Your body stores protein really well. So, and as far as good fats, we're talking, obviously don't cook the fats, raw fats, olive oil, coconut oil, almond oil, avocado oil, macadamia oil. Stay away from soybean oil, stay away from canola oil. And there's reasons for all this, which I won't get into right now. If you want to ask me more questions about what types of oils and why they harm or hurt you, definitely let me know. I'll go more into detail. But yeah, stay away from soybean oil, stay away from cottonseed oil, stay away from canola oil, or any oil that's cooked. So
okay.
I eat, what do I snack on? I snack on nuts and seeds, right? And they're either raw or dry roasted. I never snack on oil roasted because it doesn't matter what kind of oil you use. And I also go over this in the video about food that I just did. Doesn't matter what kind of oil you use. Once it gets cooked, it goes rancid and it's bad for you. And it will oxidize your cells and age your cells. So even the good oils, keep them raw. So like I said, olive oil, coconut oil, macadamia oil, almond oil, avocado oil. I'm sure I'm missing some because there's millions of oils out there.
I've been cooking my eggs in a little bit, like when I do a fried egg or whatever, I've been cooking it in a little bit of water or bone broth instead of oil. Yeah. And it works just as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to use oil. And what do? I throw two eggs and boil them and hard boiled. So, but yeah, any way you want to do it, but that's good. Yeah, we need to find alternative ways to, instead of having to cook them in oil, is always good. So that's a good suggestion. You'll feel a difference just from doing what I just said with changing your eating. Now, if you want kind of a quick fix on, how to help your anxiety with supplements, there's one that works extremely fast and extremely well that's more expensive, called pharma-GABA. So most of us know that we have one neurotransmitter is that we have in our brain is called GABA, G-A-B-A, and that helps with calming our nerves, is what it does, in the parasympathetic nervous system, right? So how do we calm ourselves? How do we calm our anxiety? How do we calm our mind? How do we calm our body? Anything that raises GABA, basically. And what raises GABA? Well, you can take pharma-GABA. That's what it's called, pharma-GABA. Don't take just regular GABA. That's not going to do anything because it does not cross the blood-brain barrier. That's why they developed pharma-GABA, because that actually crosses the blood-brain barrier. Now, it's expensive, but you want something that works fast and well, do pharma-GABA. I guarantee you. There's also
the Heart Math Institute. There's a heart coherence meditation that I recommend for everybody. And there's several versions of it on YouTube. And it's very quick at, like calming people down. It does release those calming hormones in the body right away. The serotonin, the dopamine, lowers cortisol levels almost instantaneously.
That's great.
So, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, cortisol is a big factor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cortisol is the result of being stressed. Low GABA is what's happening at the moment. Cortisol is the result of being stressed. Your body makes more cortisol. So we definitely need to reduce cortisol, because having high cortisol can cause all kinds of symptoms as well, bad symptoms too. So, so yeah, and it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. It can eventually affect all the organs, the heart, because that's part of our endocrine system. So
Right.
the adrenal glands produce cortisol. They produce adrenaline, and they produce cortisol to make up for the adrenaline they produce. It's a cycle. That's an adrenal function. Adrenal's connected to our endocrine system. So eventually it's going to affect your entire endocrine system, and it's going to affect your digestive system. And it's going to affect your neurological system. But we even have cortisol in the brain too, by the way, which phosphatidylserine, phosphatidylserine, which is naturally occurring in the brain, is actually, it's one of its major jobs is to reduce cortisol in the brain. So a lot of times that's responsible when people get brain fog. So if you have that, want to reduce cortisol in the brain, phosphatidylserine is good at about 4 to 6.
Phospho what?
Phosphatidylserine. It's just, if you look up PS.
Okay.
If you go to Amazon or something like that, or Vitacost or iHerb, and you'll find it. You if possible, it's more expensive. You want to get the soft gel, because it's fat soluble, so it's going to work better that way. And in that case, you only usually need about 400 milligrams a day, 200 twice a day. If you get the powdered capsule, which is cheaper, it's not going to absorb as well. So in that case, you want to do about 600 milligrams a day, divided in 2 or 3 doses. But like I said, the pharma GABA would be helpful for the anxiety. And now, how much do you do? Between 200 to 250 milligrams, 2 to 3 times a day. And the third dose would be at night if you have trouble sleeping. If you don't have trouble sleeping, just do 2 to 250 milligrams twice a day, for like in the morning and then in the afternoon. And you should keep your anxiety at bay. Now, if you can't afford pharma GABA, it is quite expensive. The alternative to that would be lemon balm. It's an herb called lemon balm. And
Nice.
yeah, and you can take, and that's really inexpensive. And that also increases GABA. It just doesn't work as quickly or quite as well, but it still will help calm your anxiety. So that's a good start. It does work. So if you take 3 to 500 milligrams 3 times a day with lemon balm. Now, lemon balm is more cumulative in other words than pharma GABA. In other words, pharma GABA you take to work quickly. Lemon balm is accumulative. So lemon balm, you probably won't start feeling a difference for about a week. But so just be a little bit more patient with it. But yeah, 3 to 500 milligrams 3 times a day on lemon balm. And
in the meantime, while you're waiting for your lemon balm to kick in, you can do your heart math coherence meditation.
Yes, definitely. You can tell people how to find that, but yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a good suggestion, because we can't just expect our mind and our spiritual side to heal from just taking supplements physically, right? Because
Yeah.
it goes from spiritual to mind to body, not the other way around. So
Right.
you're still not healing it at the source if you're healing your body, just your body. It's going to help, of course, but you're going to continue to have issues if you don't heal the mind as well as your spirituality.
Right. And our minds are being so bombarded right now with the fear. I see it everywhere. I see it when I open up Google. Google's got their little, keep yourself quarantined message on there. I mean, it's on the news. It's in your face. everywhere. It's on the signs on the highway. Like if you drive anywhere, you know, beaches are closed due to coronavirus. You can't even go to the beach, you know, and it's getting a little ridiculous. I mean, if I feel like I'm in a science fiction movie right now, Jason, I don't know how you feel.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. I do. I feel like this can't be real, that the government's telling us what you know, not that we can't go out, or that we can only go to grocery stores or doctor's appointments, or it's insane. It's insane. Like who would ever think that this would happen for real? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
there were all these movies that told us this was going to happen, right?
Yeah, like I feel like I'm in a bad 80s movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, sort of. But
like starring Kurt Russell with an eye patch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely the movie 1984. You know, and also the movie They Live. I mean, those are very good examples of predictive programming movies that are supposedly science fiction, but they're actually not. They actually knew this stuff was going to happen, right? So
yeah.
And one other quick thing about lemon balm: you want to cycle it. You want to do 3 weeks on, 1 week off. You don't want to do it all the time, because it could throw off imbalances in other neurotransmitters if you do it all the time, and hormones. So
okay.
3 weeks on, 1 week off on lemon balm. The pharmacology you can take anytime, but take it only when you need it, because again, that's what works quickly. It's not really cumulative. It is a little bit, but it's more for instant. So the Pharmagab you can take as needed. Lemon balm has to build up in your body. It takes about a week, like I said, to build the effect. So,
all right. Well, I love the direction that this conversation took as far as reducing anxiety. I think we should probably do another one next week if you're open to doing that, and we'll see what this week brings.
Just kidding. Yes.
If you're still alive.
Definitely. I plan to be alive. I plan to still be working from home. So we're still going to be in April. So I still plan to be working from home. So
you look very healthy.
Well, thanks. Looks can be deceiving. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I feel pretty good. You know, I'm not happy about the quarantine. You know, whatever you want to call it, shutdown, whatever you want to call it. I'm isolation. I'm definitely not happy about that. I'm used to going out and having fun. It's hard to not do.
Yeah.
But you know, if you want to know how to adapt to that better from a mental and spiritual standpoint, like I said, definitely talk to you. People should talk to you, Missi, and that's your area of expertise. So I can help a little bit with that, but not like you can. So you know, I'm more the science person, you know, and
yeah, I think we have a good mix of a little bit of both sides. So
I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, well, let's do it again next week. I will post this video on YouTube and then on Facebook to link it to YouTube.
And I will share it, and please, everybody, please like the video if you like it, and share it. Like and share. And maybe we'll even get some good music and fancy like unicorns running in the background or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
like stars shooting out of our heads.
Yeah, I don't know how to do music editing, or maybe you do. I don't know. That's not my.
Yeah, we need some good production people.
I have one. I actually have a friend who does this. So.
Oh, good.
I have a friend who does. He can do it. He can do it.
Yes, enlist his help. That would be awesome. Because I want to see some unicorns running behind you. That would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, why not? I mean, you know, unicorns are made up like a lot of other things these days. But I digress.
High five. High five. And Jason, you might seem to people like you're really serious, but I know that you've got a side to you that's not so serious.
Yeah,
and that's the side I love the most.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I've done these videos recently, and I look really, really serious.
You are very serious.
But I'm not really like that. I'm only like, and I always say to myself, on the next video, I'm going to lighten it up, and I'm going to sound more kind of whatever, you know, not so monotone. And it hasn't worked out yet, but hopefully on the next video it will. I'll show a little bit more of my extensive
Your personality. Yes.
And yeah, because I know that that would help people relate a little bit more. So I'm working
yeah,
on that.
and I think it's great that you're just doing more videos. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, because you have a lot of great information, obviously.
Well, thanks. Yeah. So, and I always forget to tell people, you said like and share definitely on Facebook. I always forget to tell people on YouTube when my videos, like and subscribe, which everybody
Like and subscribe. That's right.
Like and subscribe. I'm great at what I do, but I'm not the best at marketing. So that's just my, but yeah, I mean, we all have things that we are experts in and other things we're not. And when we're not, we get people that are to work with us.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, thanks for being willing to put yourself out there and talk to people about what you know and share your great wisdom. And I love that. Yeah. So everybody, thanks for tuning in. Please like and share and subscribe.
All that good stuff. Yeah.
All that good stuff.
See you soon.
Thank you. All right. See you soon.
All right.